I'm here today with my niece, Kylie,
Hi.
and she is 5 years old.
I'm not 5 years old, I'm 9.
She is 9 years old, and this was completely her idea, and she wanted to interview me. She's got aspirations to maybe one day be a reporter or a journalist or something along those lines, right?
I don't know.
So, if this goes well and she doesn't make me cry, then maybe this could be a reoccurring thing that we could try every once in a while. Folks can send in their questions for me, and then Kylie here can present them to me and try to make me cry. And, back there in the corner is my other niece, Caitlin. Everybody calls her Baby. You playing in the corner, Baby?
Where is she?
Nobody.
I can't see you.
Baby. Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
Her head is right there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You ever watch Dirty Dancing?
No.
Oh yeah, me neither. Okay, so first question, hit me. Let's go. I'm ready.
When did you start your toy making career?
Damn, you hit me with the hard ones right from the start. Probably maybe 7-ish years ago is when I kind of started doing it. I built Rock Gut first, and then I posted pictures of it on some forums, and people seemed to like it, and then they started asking me to make individual buildings. And I was mainly doing them out of wood. I started doing more and more of them, and then over the years I progressed out of wood into doing more cast resin buildings. But right now I still kind of do dabble a little bit with both wood and resin, and kind of mix the two together depending on what I decide to make.
Okay.
Did I get it right?
Have you always wanted to be Santa Claus?
Have always wanted to be Santa Claus.
He makes toys and you have a beard. So
And my name is Chris Kringle.
No, it's not. What else?
I always wanted to make toys. I always loved toys, and I always thought it would be amazing to be able to actually make them in some way or another. One way, I didn't know how I could do it. I thought you would have to go knock on the door at some toy company and then say, please hire me. But I didn't realize that the ability to just make them with whatever you want and just do what you like. I didn't realize that that was an option. And I tried it out and it seemed to work. So I just continued with that.
You can do whatever you want when
You can do whatever you want.
If you put your mind to it.
If you put your mind to it. That's right.
What's your absolute favorite action figure?
My absolute favorite action figure. I don't know if I have a definite favorite overall, because I like so many of them for various reasons. My all-time favorite action figure line from way back, and probably the first series of figures that I had as a kid, were the Fisher-Price Adventure People line. And the reason I liked that so much was mainly because that was my first introduction as a kid with action figures. But it was kind of the precursor to Star Wars. So when the people that made Star Wars way back when I was little, those guys, they didn't even have the figures made yet. So they to sell to like Sears and JCPenney and Kmart, and I don't even know if Walmart was really a big thing back then, but to get those companies to want to buy toys from them, they didn't have the toys made yet, so they had to show them pictures of something. So these companies, Kenner, they took the Fisher-Price action figures, and I always have a bunch of them around, and they customized them, and they made them look sort of like Han Solo and Chewbacca and Princess Leia and things like that. And so these were the essentially what Star Wars figures were going to be like. Same size, same basic articulation, and they just customized them and made them look sort of like what they were intending on making. There's another one. I got a bunch of these guys.
You got a lot.
So these, I love them mainly because they're so pure. They didn't really have a whole lot of backstory. It was basically you got male and female. You've got different characters. They made them in one of my favorites were the space characters. They had a robot. They had aliens. All the different spacemen. And the great thing about them was that you could just do whatever you wanted to with them. They had real world figures. They had like a camping set. They had hang glider. They had a stunt guy. They had like an outdoors guy. It was amazing because whatever you felt like, they had a figure for it, and you could just jump right into it and start playing. You didn't have to worry about a backstory. You didn't have to worry about messing up the storyline. It could be whatever you wanted it to be, and they were super cheap. You could buy them individually. You could buy them in these cool sets. They had vehicles, and they last forever. I mean, some of these, the dates on them are like the year I was born was 1974, and I have several of them that are all stamped 1974, and it's just amazing that figures from way back when are still just as good as they were.
Is this one of them?
That's one of them also. That was one of my favorites also. But I absolutely love these figures, mainly because they were, directly from my childhood. But currently my absolute favorite action figure line, and I love so many of them, but my definite favorite is Acid Rain. And they far more articulation. They're capable of doing so many things. It's artist driven. Kit Lau, he's the creator of the line, and it's just amazing being able to see what they create. Almost every month they have something brand new coming out. Sometimes it's straight line. The army guys, more military, kind of a post-apocalyptic military. And then sometimes they've got stuff that's just completely off the wall, and I absolutely love it. So I'm always a huge fan of the Acid Rain line.
Okay. Has it ever taken a year or two to make like a playset or something?
A year or two? Well, this took about 8 years.
I figured because this is big.
It's big, yeah.
There's
But
even
it's
there.
a city, so it's not like you're gonna flip it over. One day you're just gonna have it done. It's something that you're constantly gonna be fiddling with. So once you get one thing done, you think that you're completed with it. You realize that you could do something else, and then there's more you can do to that original building. There's so much more that can be done, with them. So most playsets that I make now, I usually try to get it done within about a week's time, a few days. But anything this large scale is just going to be a slow process.
It's a very bright city, just saying.
It is very bright.
What was the first part of Rocket Station you made? Rocket City.
Right here, the motel. That was the very first building that I made of it.
And then you decided, hey, why not do this and blah blah blah.
I just knew I wanted something in the center of the city. When I first started out, it was completely flat, and I figured I would start with the motel, and it would be one of the tallest buildings, and then that kind of it was like the anchor building, and then that from there I can kind of see I can make a building about the same size beside it. This one a little bit lower. With it being lower, it had a flat roof. I had an area that I can park ships. And then I just started stacking the buildings on top of one another. But yeah, the motel was the very first one.
Okay, I have no more cards. Screw those.
No more. Oh, hold on. I got something.
Screw those. We can just ask random questions.
Do you have random questions?
Do you have random questions, baby?
You got a question for me?
No.
No.
Oh wait. When did you? Wait.
Go ahead. Use your words, baby.
What made you start making toys?
Because I love toys, and you couldn't find many play sets like buildings. There's so much material in making a play. It's one thing when they make like a vehicle, that's got a lot of plastic. It's all going to be hollow plastic, but that's you're going to pay a certain amount for a vehicle that's going to be of this type size and this type box. And I'm sure a lot of the toy you got to open it from back here.
Oh.
But I'm sure that a lot of the toy makers, they had to kind of cut costs, so they have to shrink down a lot of the things. And, buildings were something that's going to be big and bulky. It has to be big enough to be able to fit your hand in. It's got to be big enough for you to be able to fit the figures in, maybe even a vehicle on top. That's expensive. So it's something that when they make a playset, if it gets so big, the store's only going to be able to order but so many of them. It's going to take a lot of space on the shelf, and it's not something that's going to be able to be easily turned when they're trying to order more in.
Okay. Here's a hard hard one. You probably don't remember, because you've done a lot of this. What was the first action figure that you kind of customized, like made it dirty and stuff?
Ever since I was a kid, I was customizing them. I was always doing something. I would either lop off a hand and put a robot arm on it. For a while, I would burn my figures to make them look like they were in battle damaged.
Like a flame.
Yeah, that's one I customized, but I didn't. That was recent. That was fairly recent. Past few years, I customized him. But yeah, I did. I lopped off a robot, and I cut a robot in half and then glued it to the other half of him. He's the guy that runs the taco stand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you customized, but can't talk.
I don't even know where my interviewer went.
Have you ever made a ship?
Made a ship? With a vehicle, I usually Frankenstein them together. So, like one of them is my absolute favorite ship right now, and it has been for a while, ever since I made it, which was only just a few months ago, really, earlier this year. But I wanted something that was going to be kind of a mix between the Eagle 5 from Spaceballs and also the Razor Crest from The Mandalorian. So that's when I realized I could make something using this Dicky Toys Holiday Camper, and I glued on the wings from a Elite Beast Bomber, I think is what it was, and I lopped off the remaining tip of the wing, so that way you just had the engines along with the base wing section. Glued it onto it, custom painted it, weathered it, put on a astromech head on top of it, so that turns, and then I put some AT-ST cannons on it. And the great thing about this ship, and I absolutely love ships that have a living space within it. So any of the ships like Serenity from Firefly, the Millennium Falcon, any of these ships where it's a fairly small ship, but there's an actual living compartment within it. There's a bed, there's a kitchen, there's an eating area.
There's a shower, there's a bathroom.
There's a shower, there's a bathroom, and the cool thing about it, as small as of a package essentially that this ship is, it does have all of that. It's got all of that little, regular RV living space within it. And it's got the bed, it's got a closet, it's got a shower, a toilet, it's got the kitchenette, the fridge, it's got all that kind of stuff. So, what'd you just steal from my ship?
She just took the toy box. She just took the toolbox.
But it's a great ship that was kind of scoffed at when it was, I think, in Walmart. But you can still find these. They rarely pop up. I think they made a few in the European market that might have been motorized, or where it had the push and go action. But these are freewheeling.
What does that say?
That says honky lips in Arabesh, the Star Wars language.
What's your most favorite part about Rapid Station?
My most favorite part?
Favorite part to like fiddle with and like...
I always usually take pictures from the main concourse area, if you want to call it that, the main...
like the motel area?
Yeah, the motel, this front area over here, and it's kind of like the concourse. It's the area where you're going to have all the walking traffic coming through. You're going to have people running by.
You have people
coming and going.
Ships.
Yeah. But I mean, I love the bar. I love the shopping area. I mean, every little nook of it is something that's I love.
Every little knick-knack, you will.
Yeah. How'd you get here?
Do you have any questions for him? Oh. Where was the first part? Like,
All right,
where was...
wait. Let me get back over here.
Come on, interviewer. Blah blah.
All right, go.
Interviewer patient. Where was like the first place you started building when like you started putting this together?
I think originally, I've got two teenage boys, and when they were little, they had this like Thomas the Tank Engine train table, and I think I had it over here on this side of the playroom. and they would play with it nonstop. And then eventually they got older, and it was all like, you know, kind of toddler wooden toys. Then they kind of outgrew it, so I took it over, and then I knew that this was my chance to make this humongous city playset that I've always dreamed of. So I took it over. I put a piece of plywood across the top as a base surface, and then I started putting the buildings on it, and then it just took off, you know, from there. And I just kept adding to it. I went up the walls, down from the ceiling, and I wanted it to be immersive. So when you walk into the area, you're within the area of Rock Gut Station. It'll feel like you're being surrounded by it.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? I don't even remember what the question was.
You did answer my
I
question.
think I started building it over here, and then I realized that, and I think I even had it in the middle of the room at one point, and then I decided that I could, I would slide it over here. This would be the permanent area, because the main thing is I needed power to be able to do the lights. So I had I used like a carpet cover for a power cord, and then had it going over to the main power source over this way. And then that way I could have power that wasn't obstructed. You weren't ducking over something. You know, I didn't have cables coming out the ceiling, which would actually look kind of cool, having dangling cables coming down. Like in Alita. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but in Alita they've got this big a floating city over the dump city, essentially. And there's this big, all these cords, cables that send things back and forth. But that's an idea, to be able to power something that's like an island city. How do you plug it into your existing home electricity if you don't have floor jacks? So that's one way that you could do it, is just drape the cord across the carpet and then have it covered. Nobody trips over it, and it's good to go. But that's why I slid it over this way to keep it out of the way, and it also allows you to walk around it, and you could go all the way around it when you're playing.
Whoa. Okay.
What's your favorite sign?
My favorite sign? I think I like my cold beer and spicy barbecue sign. The little skinny one right there.
Yeah, I see it.
My personal favorite, like,
Yeah, which one's your favorite?
light thing
My light things, okay.
is like these things. Cause
The infinity mirrors?
yeah, because when you look in it, it's like so long. I want to stick my hand in it. I want to go.
Well, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted it to look like, with Rock Gut being at the center of a hollowed out asteroid, like a rock in space, right? And it's just kind of like floating around in space. And I thought that Rock Gut could be stationed inside that. And then how do the ships get to it? So I figured that all these like tunnels and holes that lead all the way back to the outside of the asteroid. So a ship picks one of the entry ports, and then somehow or another they come through the infinity tunnels that are up there, and then that gives you the effect that it's further than what it is being up against that wall.
You know,
My
you
favorite
could
sign
take
is
the
that
infinity
lady.
mirror I
My
made, but
favorite
like
sign's that lady right
it's
there.
gonna break. Some.
Your favorite sign is the lady one.
Living nudes.
She. So my young niece here likes the live nude sign the most. That's her favorite. That's great, baby.
Good thing she doesn't know what it means. Okay. Okay. Did you make the Empire place like right here so that like they could be at war or something?
Yeah, I got the Imperial side over on this side of the room. Well, I just needed another area to make something that was a little bit different than Rock Gut. Now I figured that Rock Gut is in its own section of the galaxy, and then it's a quick jump to get to the bad guy side, the Imperial side. In play, you could just pretend that you're flying
It takes 30 light years to get
30 light years to get to the other side of the room.
there.
What else you got for me?
When did you start? When did you start making those?
When did I start making what?
Those things? Did you make them or did you?
No, usually any of the buildings and stuff,
30 light years.
I make all of the buildings and the landing platforms and all that kind of stuff. So I just make it. If I need it, I'll make it. If I can't find it in a store, like the shape of it, then I'll just go ahead and make it.
You took my chair. Whoa. Whoops.
What else? You got something else?
Hi, I'm right in front
Did
of
you
you.
make that or did you buy that?
The sail barge. The sail barge was something from Hasbro Pulse. So it was a special ship. It was going to be big and huge, and they needed to see that enough people were going to want it. So it was very expensive. And what they did was they had a bunch of people basically sign up to say, I want to buy this thing. And if they get enough people, then they say, okay, we're going to make it. So that's how it works. And then hopefully about every year, they'll come out with a dream project that they'll be able to produce something along those lines. A big, cool ship. And I'll definitely put it in here.
Okay. He used to work on the table downstairs.
Yes.
Did you move to the garage because you needed more space, or because Juji, our aunt, pushed you out of the...
Your Aunt Juji?
Pushed you out of the dining room?
No, my wife has never given me any grief about working on the... Yeah, most of my original workshop space was really at the dining room table. It was just piddling with little stuff.
Very dirty, though.
Yeah, it got very dirty. So I would piddle around with these little projects, and then more projects, and it just kept spilling over all over the place. So my poor wife would have to eat on the floor or on the porch. And no, not really. And she made me eat on the porch. So
They have enough counters to eat.
yeah, we have enough counters. Everybody can eat. No, but originally, and then I worked on the dining room table, and I always heard about people doing kitchen table businesses, and I never really quite understood how you could do that. And then I realized, oh yeah, you can do that. You can just sit there at the kitchen table and just start making something and see where it goes from there.
Like this.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay, I think we're done here.
But then eventually I was able to move everything, my workshop, into the garage. So that became my at-home work area, my workshop.
In our arcade.
And it's got an arcade in there also, yes.
I think we're done here.
You think you're done? You're not even in charge of this interview.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, are we done?
Yes. Bye, peeps.
All right, so the interview's over?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm Chris Shaler, and you can see any of my work on Empire Toy Works, on Instagram, Facebook, and on eBay, and here on YouTube. So that's it. Say bye.
Bye, guys. This is probably the only video I'm going to be in, just saying.
What? This might be a thing.
Hopefully, because
You think so?
Because next year I'll get more questions.
You got more questions.
This will be-
Next year.
This will be a day long.
Jesus.
A day.